Have you ever tried to build a custom control, like an entry field or a push button? Let me tell you, it is not easy, unless you're using Cursor and Claude Sonnet. I tried 30 years ago to modify a combo box, and I failed miserably. I succeeded this time, and it only took a few hours. But more interesting than that is when we went off the rails twice, and we were able to recover. Hello world, I'm David Scott Bernstein and welcome to The Passionate Programmer. This is not vibe coding. This is a significant program. It's several thousand lines of code. You can see the entire program on GitHub. I'll walk you through the code, but before I do, let me walk you through a demo of it. We've been building a prompt manager over the last couple of weeks, and one of the key aspects is the ability to add and edit lists of different options. To do that, I'm going to co-opt a combo box and turn it into a little mini list editor. All right, this is my little test page here, and we're just going to work with this first combo box. And we've created some new behavior for it. So as I bring it down, you see that it has an option called add. I'm going to just type in something and click add. And we'll add what I typed into the combo box, as you can see. Now I can update, that's what I just did, or I can, add another one. I can also edit, or I can even delete. And all I have to do is hit delete and return, and it removes it from the combo box. All of this obviously is behavior that's not part of the default combo box. And in order to do it, I had to change the default behavior. That's about 200 lines of code. And it's very interesting how we can do this in JavaScript. This control specifically required a lot of focus for us. I first started to build it by just talking to the AI, and it was not very successful. We did maybe 4 or 5 different renditions, and when one feature would be built, another feature was lost. And this is typical when you're working with AI in this way. So I stopped, and we backed up. And what we did was we wrote in English a full detailed description of exactly how it should behave. I wrote it up, and then I asked my AI to ask me questions about it. And it asked me questions, I answered them, and then it wrote me a complete description of exactly all the things that this custom combo box had to do. And we used that to guide us in building the system. It worked out pretty well, but there were still some things missing. And so when we added those, I noticed that the system became a lot more complex. So I asked the AI to refactor the code. And it was like, yeah, I think it's time to refactor as well. But it didn't volunteer it. I had to ask it. So when it did, it came up with a completely new design that actually was beautiful. And that's what we're going to walk through. You're going to see the solution that it came up with after, I don't know how many renditions, maybe, 3 major ones and probably 7 or 8 minor ones in the course of just a handful of hours. This module, Test Combo Box Standalone, is the test harness for our custom combo box. There's about 200 lines of JavaScript that is relevant, and I'll walk you through that. But first, here's some of the stuff that we'll ignore. The beginning, there's styles, which is just basic definitions for, the look of how the combo box or the entry fields are supposed to be. Again, it's not really relevant to us. And then there's the HTML for the test page. We don't really need to look at that either. This is what we want to look at on line 237, our custom combo box class. And our constructor, when we're initialized, we pass in a container ID that has the combo box. And we first off get the elements for that, things like the input field or the dropdown or the arrow. So we get those, we set our initial states up, and then we set up our listeners. And this is really the key to set up our listeners. Listeners are using the observer model design pattern. it's like a publish-subscribe pattern. Think of a newspaper. People who subscribe to the newspaper, when the newspaper comes out, automatically get notified that there's a new issue. And that's what adding an event listener is. We're adding a new listener, someone who's waiting on a particular event to occur. And when the event occurs, then the method gets notified. When we get focus on the combo box, we notify the method show dropdown. When someone types a key that goes to the combo box, we send a message to handle key down. Okay, so that's kind of how we're doing it. So we're adding event listeners for clicks, and it's interesting that we stop propagation, we prevent default. These are the default behaviors for the combo box. So what we're doing is we're creating the behaviors ourselves. We're creating a listener for when they click on each one of the items as they're added. So each of the items in the combo box have a listener as well. Okay. Here's how we handle the different key options. So when people arrow down or arrow up, etc., we're preventing the default. We're allowing the dropdown to always show unless they explicitly hide it. When the user hits enter, then we make our decision. If there's no text there, we delete the item. If there is text, we can enter it or update it. Here's how we do our navigation. Again, we're preventing the dropdown from going away, so unless the user explicitly drops it down. And here's how we handle selections. We also highlight options as they go through, and here's how we explicitly hide and show the dropdown. Update selections are involved in highlighting the different selections, so you can see where the cursor is selected or where the current selection is. Here's how we add an option. And I'm not going to go through the details of it, but notice that it wrote the code, and it did pretty well in organizing it, I think. I have looked at this in detail, and I'm pretty pleased with the layout and the design, and it works pretty well as well. And there's removing an option and updating an option, and some of the getters. And that's about it. The rest of the module is functions that support testing. So that's the essence of the combo box. I think it's it's about 200 lines of code, and it gives us enormous flexibility and functionality in the combo box. Let's just quickly revisit the behavior of the combo box. So here it is. We can, when we click on it, it pulls down, and there has one option in there called add. So I can type in something into the combo box, and when I click add, it adds it to the combo box. And I can add multiple items. I can also select an item and update it by hitting enter, and it updates it. Or I could delete it by simply deleting it and hitting enter, and it goes away. So that's the behavior. It works really well. And so our next step is to move this combo box into our prompt manager. Now that we have a working custom combo box, how do we integrate it into a larger application? And that's in the next video. So check it out, and I'll see you there. Happy coding.